I'm 48 years old. I'm not dead yet. My work is continuing. I see the body of work as not a frozen, static work, but something that is still alive, that is still being changed and still in use, really. And that's exactly what I wanted to do here. Use the products, and that's how we started designing scenographies, room sets, installations, rather than classic forms of display.
The exhibition Panorama about Konstantin Grcic is a project that we developed over 3 years, so quite a long time. And since a long time it had been a wish of our museum to work with Konstantin on a large solo exhibition. In our discussions with him, we both felt that it would be interesting to do more than just a retrospective, than just to show his objects, but to go beyond that and to show whole scenographies, whole worlds into which the visitor can dive.
When Mateo Kries first asked me to do this exhibition, I thought I'm as much interested in designing the exhibition than in the kind of the privilege of having the exhibition. So the design of the exhibition really was became a project, and if you want a continuation of my own work, and it is something that I do every now and then, designing exhibitions, and it's a format that I really like, not only as a designer but also as a visitor.
The exhibition is structured into 4 sections. The first room of the exhibition is called Life Space. It's in the center of this space. There is a dwelling room. And in this room, Konstantin Grcic has placed a new design that he has created for the exhibition, which is a modular, multifunctional object that he has called Life Stage. So it is a stage on which you place other objects, and this stage can be placed in any found space. And on this life stage, Grcic has placed several objects that he designed, like the chair Waver for Vitra, the lounge chair Carbone for Galerie Creo, a table called Palace. So you see different items, and this all makes this unit called Life Space that you can see in the first room. The second space of the exhibition is called Workspace. In the middle of this space you see a big table, looks like a working table, and on this table there are a lot of different objects designed by Grcic. Many of them are unfinished, so here it is about the development of new objects, it's about processes. So we see prototypes, we see finished objects, we see even only mock-ups which are long before the prototype. And for example, you see the stool 360 degrees for Magis. You see a wooden mock-up that doesn't even look like the finished product. Then you see molds out of foamed plastics that only shape the seating element. And then you see the final product that you can even use in that space. And the whole setting of the second space is again very special and narrative. One side looks like a cave wall. He has added an artificial rock which is lit with a violet light, so it looks somehow mysterious. And the other side is covered with very rough wooden panels. There is a film projection of that on that wall where you see the work in Konstantin Grcic's studio. So you see the result of the work on the table and the process of the work on this film, which is created like a desktop, like a look on Konstantin Grcic's desktop on one day, 24 hours in fast forward. After having seen the life space in the exhibition, you come to the workspace, and then as a third step, you step out into the public space. There, the question was, how can we represent a public space in a museum space? And the great idea of Konstantin Grcic was that he commissioned a huge panorama image from a concept artist that usually works for big film productions. And this panorama painting shows a big public space of a possible future. And this panorama in this third space enters into a dialogue with the objects that Grcic places into that space. He places there a strange kind of fence, black fence. You can think either this fence protects you from that panorama, or it avoids that you can go there. You can read it as you like. In front of that fence, you'll see the object London by Konstantin Grcic, which is a seating object for outdoor spaces. It's actually much more comfortable than it looks. People like to use it in the exhibition. It looks like an UFO that has landed somewhere in that public space. And then he has added a lot of his chair wands for margis that stand there like sculptures in the open space. The fourth section of the exhibition is called Object Space. There we switch from the big panorama in the third space to the single object, and we look at how Konstantin Grcic is working, where he gets his inspirations from, how he looks at found anonymous daily objects. And the whole space consists of one very large vitrine. It contains more than 150 objects. It's a 35-meter long vitrine, and the objects in that vitrine are organized like a domino game. One object is placed there, and the next object has a certain relation to the previous one. The next one again is connected to the previous one, and you can jump from one object to the other. In the vitrine, you have a beautiful text by Konstantin Grcic, where he writes about how these objects are interwoven, how they are connected. And you see, what I find interesting is that you see that a designer's work is never only following one project from the beginning to the end. It is always about failures, about surprises, about sudden moments of inspiration that maybe you work on one project and then you have an idea for the one that you are working at the same time on, and then you continue with another project. So we wanted to show that a design process is not only something very organized and linear, it also has this aspect. But at the same time, it is also something very spontaneous, maybe sometimes even chaotic. And still, as a designer, you have to find your way through this through all these things that happen on the way while you design an object. And somehow it can be compared to evolution in nature.
I like the mix of these different formats and possibilities, and really wanted to make a design exhibition that also has a kind of an experience factor, something that people would enjoy, something that makes that kind of enhances a kind of a dialogue, a thinking process. It's not just saying this is what we have, look at it and learn it, but here's a proposal, what if it's like this? And you know, in the end, this is what I think is what the discussion about future is about. It's about asking questions, and it's about looking at all the different ways of, and with different perspectives of what future is. There's no one future, there's no master plan or utopia vision, certainly not made by architects or designers. The future is many answers to many problems, and most likely very specific answers to specific problems that then become reference to other specific problems and so on.